All right, excuse me, it's 9 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order of Nelson County Fiscal Court, Tuesday, December 6, 2002. It's 9 a.m. The first thing is we had 2 minutes to consider. We had the regular session of November 15th, and we had a special Zoom session of November 23rd. Anybody have any concerns or anything?
I noted. I'll make the motion.
Keith makes the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Jeff makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next, we have the bills and the transfers. Rhonda's here if you have any questions. Burner makes a motion. Gary seconds. All in favor of approving the bills and the transfers say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who was the second?
Gary? Sorry. All right then, Jeanette, do you want to introduce our guests,
Yes.
please?
Good morning. This is Mr. Ross Robinson. He's with Harp. They take care of our voting machines for the last, 15, 20 years? Since Phyllis was here, 30 years. He's going to introduce the new Verity machines that by KRS, we have to have new machines by 2024. So Ross is going to demonstrate. He's gave paperwork with a quote, but it's not with a discount. We can't add the discount until we talk more about it. So if you have any questions, Ross will be available. And if you have anything after he leaves, Kathy's going to stay, my election team leader, and we can answer some questions there.
Jeanette, repeat the last part you said about the bid.
Okay, he's gave us some bids, quotes, but he can't give us a discount yet until we talk more about it and I guess sign. And then you can explain maybe the discount, or I know it's.
Sign a contract and then see what kind of discount.
No. We have to be more,
Write it down on a napkin.
The fiscal court has to take this out for bid, so you have to list it in the paper. We won't ever put a discount on it and show our cards until we go to the bid. So they're sealed bids, and I'll be glad to put a discount on it if you want to sign today.
I don't think this court's going to.
I didn't think you would.
Going to do that, or this judge.
No, so what I did was give you list price on this. I wanted to show you the recurring fees. Harp Enterprises incurs all the recurring fees for you. There are fees that get charged to each county. Harp absorbs those. So that's why you'll see most vendors will pass those on to the customers. We incur them and no charge to you guys. I did put optional line items down below in there. One of them, which is really important, is what we call the HVS, your oat voting equipment disposal fee. There's no money in that. They charge us to dispose of your oat equipment properly. So for that fee, we will come in with new equipment, take your oat out, take it, and it gets shredded at a shredder. Properly, we have to pull certain components out that can't go through the shredder, but there is a fee to us for that. Or you guys can waive that and take care of your own disposal. We've had a few counties do that.
What is in the machine that wears out, we have to replace them so often?
I'm sorry?
What wears in the machine, we have to replace them so often?
Well, this has a 14-year shelf life. You're at end of life on your other equipment. It was end of life 2.5 years ago. I think y'all did experience some issues during this past election. The parts for them are no longer made.
Okay.
So anything you're buying right now will have 14-year shelf life guaranteed parts on it. But quickly to get into the presentation, y'all feel free to ask questions. This is a Verity scanner. This will replace your current scanner. You also have what's called an ADA device, which is a e-slate device that your disability community uses. This is replaced now with a paper-based ADA machine, which is called a Duo. It uses thermal paper. It still has your tactile ATI controllers on it that the disabled community can use. It allows for wheelchair accessibility, which is sip and puff, as well as the headphones, full use, braille for the blind community. And when it produces your ballot in here, it'll come out and list it just as they voted. And this scanner is a Duo scanner. It does plain paper as well as thermal paper, so it can read both of them. One thing that separates us from our competition, they use half sheets. They use a card that they insert in the machine to activate the ballot. When we come up here, the poll worker will activate this, the voter will vote, and then it lists all the selections that they have made. This machine will actually read the optical character resolution for the selections. Our competition, all competition, not just in this state, uses embedded in a barcode, and it reads the barcode, which is fine. The machine will read it. The problem is, if you ever had a recount, how do you know what's inside the barcode? And that's why we do optical character recognition. When it actually lists the selections on the paper, it's reading what the voter actually chose. That way, when they pull that ballot out before they scan it over here, they're going to look at it and say, is this what I wanted to do? Yes, then we'll scan. Some other features with this machine, I preloaded some stuff in here. I wanted to show you some new features this one has. We do landing lights up here now, green landing lights, to show the voter where to place their ballots. The old machine, the voter would walk up, they had no idea where to put their ballots in. It would skew it. We have guides on the side now, so it doesn't skew the ballot. It also does plain English on here now. Right now it's saying one or more marks are too small. The reason for that, a lot of older voters will set and rest their pen and they'll put ink marks inside boxes with no intention to vote for that person. We're kicking those out now to let that voter have a second chance to say, hey, I didn't mean to make that. They can spoil the ballot, or if they're happy, they can darken it in, go ahead and cast the ballot as is. The other thing we did, this is a second page on the back. In the past, poll workers had to tell the voters, hey, make sure you check the back. There's stuff on both sides. Well, what we're doing now, when it kicks out, not only did the marginal mark up here where there's an ink dot in just one box, it's also saying blank page. You did not mark any choices on one side of the ballot. Both sides contain contest, which is a great feature because a lot of times the biggest complaint coming back in during a general election when you have two sides, the voter didn't turn the ballot over and look at it. So now we're warning them, hey, you didn't vote anything on both sides. So. And it's optional, they don't have to. If they want to cast the ballot as is, they just hit the button. And they'll take it and accept it without any marks on the back and the marginal mark.
Now, who hits that button? Does the person hit the button?
The voter.
Or the poll worker?
The voter.
The
In
voter.
plain English, it says to change, you can pull the sheet out. And when you pull it out, you're either marking it and darkening it in, or you can have the ballot spoiled and reissue a new ballot to the voter. Or they can touch the screen that says, or you can cast as is and touch the screen. So we went to all plain English on this. The security built into all this is a lot more robust now than what the old equipment had. Federal guidelines have tightened down, so there's more security. We use, I don't know if you all remember the old cards we used to capture the vote totals, the little MBB cards. These are now on proprietary V drives, so all your information for the cast vote records are stored on here. In order to our company to set this, we have to use what's called a proprietary key that's encrypted. So it's double authenticated. Everything in here is. Double authentication's easy. Something you have, something you know, a password. We contain the passwords. We change them every election and make sure that this is getting updated for every election.
Those are located inside of the vote?
We put them in there, but they are in there. Every machine has one. They're under locked door, and there will be a seal on here, but we put a proprietary V drive in everything.
Pretty cool.
And right now we have to have our.
Color-coded keys for every machine. The reason for it is there's 3 different locks on here. So anywhere you see a red dot, it's a red key, yellow dot, it's yellow key, green dot, green key. We have a brochure that goes to the poll workers to simplify this for them, so it makes it easier for them. We've been doing this for 4 years. The very first county to have this was Trimble County. I used to get calls from them all the time with the old equipment. We've had not one single call from the poll workers having issues or problems with the new equipment.
What about the older generation? Do they have a problem with this?
No, haven't had any problems with it. One thing we did do as well, point this out, we changed the ballot layout. The older people on your older equipment with the older technology, these boxes where they voted was a lot closer together. So if you had a person that had the shakes, and they tried to make a mark here and accidentally went up in there. We're seeing fewer and fewer overvotes where they're going from one box to another because we was able to space this out and clean this ballot up. So we've eliminated a lot of the overvotes that we used to get. This machine over here, as I pointed out, you'll insert a blank ballot in here. The poll worker will do all this, and then once this is up, the voter can vote. We can change the screen layout on here. We can change the contrast to black with white letter, white with black, full color. The best feature probably, and we get this a lot where voters will come in and they forget their glasses. And then we send somebody over to help them or help read it. We can put them on this machine over here and change the text size to large. And it helps those folks with cheater glasses or whatever to be able to do this. And this works just like any of your other equipment. You got straight party or you individually. Had the question, I forget who asked me, Judge, you did. A lot of people don't understand this straight party voting. If you vote a straight party ticket and you go down to another box or another race and vote the opposite party, anything done inside that other race overrides your straight party ticket. That's federal guidelines and state guidelines. You have to do that.
Well, I just happened to ask me that at 8:45 when I was walking on the
Yeah.
street.
And we see people that lose races and they think they lost because of that. And the machine has to work the way the federal and state guidelines require it to work. It's in your KRS, your regulations to work that way, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's how it works. But I'll quickly go through here and make some selections.
Suppose that machine gets jammed up while the guy's sitting there doing what you're doing, what happens then?
Well, the machine doesn't jam at this point right here. If it's going to jam, and I'll go ahead, I'm going to just finish. You have a review screen on here. It's called Second Chance Voting, so you can change or look at how you voted before you even say print. Now, if it's going to jam, this is where it's going to jam, where it's pulling the paper through and do it. We just spoil the ballot and reissue a new blank ballot to them. Because all of this is blank ballot stock. So this goes in blank, their selections come out. But it looks like this. And this will be how they selected. Yes, there's a barcode on here, but this barcode, all it has in here tells what database it's from. It says I'm from this election. Yes, this system knows me. And then when we take it over to read it, it's actually going to read our selections over here. Not, all it's using this for is to say, I'm good for this election. I'm part of this database. And then it will take it in, it'll take it in and it'll kick it out. It changes itself from plain paper to thermal and then drops the ballot in. And just like the old equipment, it's going to go in and drop and then you'll see the flag and you know your vote counted. Why do I have this over here? These are optional. This is called a Verity print. This is a print on demand. So if you want to do a back-end office, you order a certain amount of ballot stock from us. Say you wanted to do all of your mail-out ballots. So they get a request to send somebody a mail-out ballot for absentee. The staff can come in here and say, issue a ballot. They'd simply pick the precinct, say, okay, yes, print the ballot. This thing went into a sleep mode. It's going to wake itself up here in about 12 seconds, and then it's going to print a ballot that looks identical to a pre-printed ballot over here. And this can be done in the field at a location. You can have one of these there, or you can do it just back office. The pricing that I put on here is a request from Jeanette that she was looking at them at each location. That's,
This eliminates human error if you was to let the machine pick the ballot versus once they show you what ballot to choose, this lady here is telling this poll worker to get this one, this poll worker's talking to somebody who's gonna put it on the ballot. This will not let you put it on the ballot.
so this is printed over here, and if you can tell, it looks identical. You can't tell the difference. We have counties that are vote centers that have 8, 9 of these at a location, and every single person comes in, they're printing a ballot form and handing it. So they're not ordering any pre-printed ballots from us. Then I do have people that order pre-printed ballots, and then they use this as emergency if they run out at that location. Or some people just using this for back-end office to do mail-outs or emergency ballots, and then print them and then run them out to a location. So it's any way the county wants to adopt it, use it, or you don't have to do it at all. You can go strictly 100% pre-printed ballots with us.
And we have run out ballots before. We had our maintenance guy meet Harp on the BG on election day.
Yep.
Bring some more ballots.
Yeah, and that's a huge expense to us and the county on emergency ballots on election day. So at a minimum, I try to get my accounts to at least do a back office for emergency ballots, so we're not printing, we're all not running to get them. And yeah, we're only 55 minutes away, but still, it takes time to load those up and print. That time could be spent doing your own right here.
Any questions?
I know I threw a lot at you. Judge asked me to keep it brief, but
You're very informative, very interesting.
Can we ask questions?
They're usually not.
Okay.
But they'll be back, we're gonna bid it out, y'all will be very involved in it, and you can always talk to Jeanette and them over there too.
Right.
yeah, and if you want to call me direct, you can let Jeanette.
That'd probably be the best thing, again, if you don't mind, just go through Jeanette. All right, well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Ross.
I told him he could go ahead and take the stuff down, he had to sit there and wait for us to do our business, so, y'all, sorry for the distraction, but I don't want to keep him any longer than he did. The next thing is, on January 2nd, we'll have a new judge and new magistrate, so we need some bank cards, and Rhonda doesn't want to get to the last minute and not have this done, so we'd like to get an authorization to do a resolution to do the bank cards, right?
Correct. Yes, effective January 1 to whatever date it will be. But we have to have, we have 2 signatures on every bank account, every investment that we have. And so we just need to get everything updated before the new term starts.
Gary makes that motion. Bernard seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor of having a resolution for the bank cards, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Road Department? Chris?
On some trees, we finished cutting the trees on Stone Road. We opened it up pretty good. We had a lot of low-hanging limbs. And we cut the trees back on Masterson Lane. Same thing on Avery Loop. We had some of those hanging below, and we got calls about hitting trucks. And due to the heavy rains and high winds on November 29th, we spent the entire next day just going throughout the county, cleaning roads and picking up trees. And we had gravel washed out in the road a lot of places. We went back Old Sutherland Pike, done the same thing, cut the trees there, and went to School Lane. On drainage, we replaced a cross drain on Bennett's Lane. We've been doing some shoulder work. We repaired the shoulder on D Hill with some coal mixers. Just won't stay there on some of the steeper hills. We repaired the shoulder on Walker Hall with Class 2 channel line, just to help with the erosion there. Repaired one shoulder section of Bennett's Lane with gaping baskets, and 2 other sections we just replaced with dirt. Just built up with dirt, and that worked out real well, turned out good. On some asphalt patching, we did patch the approaches to Hilton Lane Bridge. We have cleaned the lower shop, got room for all of our snow equipment, get everything that will fit in the shop now. And we did get the approaches built to the new bridge on Caney Fork, and we did widen the road leading up to it, the bridge is a little wider than the road.
Chris, how many times have we practiced going through our routes?
We've done it twice, and we're gonna if we get this heavy rain, tomorrow may be a good day, or Thursday to do another dry run.
Nothing personal, Mr. Hutchins, but being somebody still associated with Electric Cooperative in charge of roads, I hope we don't have any bad weather the rest of this month, and you can have it all then, so. I don't want both phones going off at the same time if I have to. Brad, you got anything else?
No.
Okay, landfill.
The free passes to the landfill, they'll be sent back with the electric bills. Everybody be looking for those, so they don't throw those away and get lost. Our holiday schedule for Christmas, basically Christmas is on Sunday, so we'll be closed down Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so regular garbage is just gonna be regular days that time. Our scale, we got a new scale program we implemented December 1st. We talked about that. It's been months ago, but it took us a while to get everything programmed. We've been running it, doing tests on that for the past month, and we started live with that December 1st. So thank you guys for letting us switch over to that. It's been very helpful. Design schedule for the expansion. We should have our technical application, hopefully, got on the phone with the guys yesterday, hopefully by the end of the month, get our stuff together. We're kind of going back and forth with a few last questions of stability analysis and seismic design, stuff like that. So hopefully get that going. Done by the end of the month. That way we can get our final design and basically start looking at quantities just to make sure everything's good with that material. But other than that, no operations.
For John? Joe, EMS report?
Give an update on the emergency management dispatch. As I reported to the court a few meetings ago, we had lost some of our cell phone dollars through Verizon taking over Bluegrass. We've been told unofficially that CMRS has hired a specialist just to work on cell phone subscribers and the cell phone companies to ensure that they're turning in what they're supposed to be turning in. I'm not sure how long this specialist's been in her job role, but she unofficially told us that so far they've found about 4,000 additional Verizon and about 8,000 or a little more additional AT&T customers. So that would put us for Nelson County. So that puts us back at about the 13,000 that we were short in the last 2 quarters. And the question was asked that, what do we do about the shortage of the last 2 quarters? Well, not much good news on that. They don't know how they can go back and retrieve those funds. But going forward, our pro rata, which is the number of cell phones that we get our funding on, should be back near normal, or at least unofficially near normal. So I think that's pretty good news.
What about these phones they sell out at Walmart? Is there any way to track them?
The specialist, I'm glad you brought that up, Keith. The specialist has also been charged with looking at all these smaller companies that apparently some are not reporting to the state, to Kentucky, and to try to find those numbers and see if we can encourage those companies to report as well. So that may help out in that respect. But right now there's no they're so small that there hasn't been enough staff in that office to ensure that they're reporting. So hopefully that's going to help that out. No update on the, I'm sorry.
How much money has been lost since Verizon has taken it over, you know?
I can give you a rough estimate.
Yeah.
About the first quarter, we lost more because we had to pay back from the quarters before that they felt they had overpaid. So the first quarter, out of our $36,000 pro rata, we lost about $14,000 that quarter. The last quarter, we lost $10,000
About 24, 25,000.
in 2 quarters, which makes a big effect on our annual budget.
Anything that we can go in court to recoup this?
I don't know, I talked to Joe about it.
I don't really think so. This is on the state level, and it's not only Nelson, it's across the state. You know, several counties that,
Why would Verizon do that? Why would they, when they took over, why would they not do what?
well, I think that, you know, this is Joe Pruitt talking. I think the purchase from Bluegrass Cellular was so overwhelming and such intense that that was the least thing on their mind, as whether or not they had their reporting to Kentucky, out of 50 states, if that was correct. So it's probably been a lot of just catch-up, I think, They lost several customers. Several customers that were Bluegrass Cellular went to other companies, so, and we see that through the AT&T numbers. So it's been, luckily CMRS saw the problem. All the counties that took a hit were just screaming in their ear, and so they hired somebody that can just be dedicated to that.
Was it just the counties that Bluegrass and Verizon bought?
As far as I know, yeah.
Like
That's
Harp
when we,
County, Nelson was
Marion,
one?
yeah, several
Marion.
counties were in the same boat. We took probably one of the bigger hits.
Bigger than Hardin?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
So right now, they haven't got any conclusion on that, so we could lose another quarter, correct?
She has informed us that this quarter should be correct.
So this coming quarter?
Yeah, the quarter we in should be correct. We just don't have an answer on previous quarters where there was a loss.
Well, I think that would be something to look into.
Well,
The county attorney.
That was our go-to with them to begin with, when we first got this, is that we were gonna have to get legal involved, probably get Matthew to look into it if they couldn't help resolve it. And so they've been working on it. So I give them, kudos for that. They haven't just sit back, they've hired somebody to work on it. And the problem is there's gonna have to be legislation done that actually put teeth into it and require the companies to have some auditing accountability.
But the kudos don't recap the $25,000.
Well, they haven't said it not. They haven't said it not. They just don't know how they can go back and do that. So it may be possible, yeah. Haven't been able to do anything on recouping our losses with dispatch through the internet outage. Probably won't. And then under emergency management, Judge and I received yesterday confirmation that we did get approved for an additional special grant through Kentucky Emergency Management for an additional siren. So that puts us at 4 sirens in this budget, which is pretty good. No report on EMS, a little too early to get all the reports together.
Any questions for Joe? Derek, Recreation?
Yeah, the tournament we had at Thanksgiving weekend, it went pretty well, ended up with 84 teams. Every hotel I contacted was booked, so I think it went pretty well. Other than that, I've just been doing some punch list items from trees to painting, gutter repair, the list goes on. It's gonna keep me busy all winter, to be honest with you. And one thing I've been looking into is called Event Link. It's basically kind of like networking, whether the organization wants to use it for registration, work orders, upcoming events. All the high schools use it now, and it actually works pretty well. You all could even have access to it and go in and see what's going on.
Was that just maintenance software?
Pretty much, yeah. So you don't have to use it for registration, just like you can dump the schedules in, so you can come in, you can see the soccer, baseball, see if there's any conflicts, and I just think it's something to look into.
Any other questions? Thanks, Dave. Other county elected officials, Jalen?
This morning, we had 115 inmates, 36 are state, 82 are county, 21 of them are females, and 97 of them are males. 56 of them currently waiting on circuit court cases, and 16 waiting on district court cases.
Any questions? Sheriff's Department?
The sheriff couldn't be here today, but he sent you all an email Friday in reference to asking permission to order 2 Tahoes. He has spoken to Dick Eaton with Conway's, and they are not going to be able to get Ford Explorers this year. We can order 2 Tahoes, and the time frame that we're looking at is around March. So we would like to go ahead and purchase those. The state price is $45,617 under state contract. So we can go ahead and get those ordered. We can get them here in March, and we can get the equipment ordered as well, so we can get it all here.
These are in our budget for this year. So there's
Yes.
$100,000 in there for this year.
Is 100,000 including the upgrades of the cages and everything?
That will probably go over a little bit, but almost everything's, and I'm not taking up for anybody, but since July, everything's gone up 5 or 10%.
Oh, I understand that.
So you're gonna spend 91,000 on buying these, you're probably gonna spend 15 to 20 on recasing. Joey, you do that, so.
More than that?
About
It'd be
18,
more than that.
about 18 or so with using the radios. I assume, Brandon, we use radios we got?
Yes. So 18 for both or 18 apiece?
No, 18 apiece.
A piece?
36,000?
And that's not in the
So it'll
budget.
be 126,000 then, and it's 100,000.
Why didn't we keep the other two Tahoes? They was already equipped.
Those were not a pursuit package. Those are not the ones that you want on the road with the guys. They're a different wheelbase. They're.
Well, how come we bought them to start with then?
Because they were not ever meant to be on the road for. They were more of the Secret Service package.
So supervisor vehicle, right?
Yes. This won't be an issue if we could get the Explorers, but they're not,
They're not gonna get them this year.
they're not coming.
I checked with Bill Conway too, because Dick was sick last week, and he said they'd love to get them, they'd love to sell them, but they can't get them.
I'll make a motion to order the two Tahoes over Explorer since the sheriff's department can't get them. Unless there's another option, I'll go on and make the motion to order the two Tahoes.
Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Bernard seconds it. Any discussion? Yes, sir, Jeff?
Does this have to be bid out, or you're saying you just ordering them, or just
No,
because it's off
yeah,
state
we ordered
contract?
through state contract.
So was it about the extra 26,000?
Sheriff gonna pay the extra?
That'll be something to talk to sheriff about.
So we really need to know where that money's coming from, our budget, or
I would say it's,
Normally, if it's the vehicles we purchase out of our budget, we also purchase the equipment. Fiscal Court pays for their.
Even though we
two
didn't have it in the
vehicles
budget?
fully. We'll just have to pull from the reserves or wherever you want to pull the money from. I mean, that's a fiscal court decision.
Due for till March,
Right.
Be a new fiscal court, so we could discuss it enough.
Should we wait till the new fiscal
But
court?
he's got to order them now, or he won't get them.
any more discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Jeanette, do you have anything, Ms. Clerk?
Yes, I'd like to remind the media that our office is going to be closed this December 16th through the 19th for a floor renovation.
The whole building's closed.
Oh, that's right, PBA, I forgot. about
PVA's closed. We're gonna have all that. We don't need people going there getting sick, and we don't have people disrupting that. So I don't take closing the office very lightly, but for the fact I don't want anybody getting sick, the help or anything else, that we do have to close those 2 days. Luckily, it's in the middle of the month.
Thank you.
Mr. Attorney,
No report.
any old or new business? Anybody have anything else to bring up? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn by Gary, seconded by Bernard. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
What do you 16 through 19?